Good morning and welcome to day 21 of our celebration of Christ. We're in Matthew chapter 28, verses 19 and 20, and it reads, Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Amen. Today I'm having a friend over for a Bible study and lunch. I want to prepare something that I think that she may enjoy. So let's get started. We'll be making a potato and ham soup with ham and cheese sliders. In a large pot, I've heated up 1 tablespoon of bacon drippings. It's good and hot, and I'm going to add 1 chopped onion, and mine's a large one. And I'm going to add about 1.5 cups of chopped low sodium ham. I'm going to stir it around, and I'm going to allow it to cook and start to kind of turn brown and caramelize just a little bit. So I'm going to leave it still there just for a moment. And this is the way I like it. Can you see the little brown pieces there on the ham, and the onions have started to caramelize just a little bit. The bottom of the pan, nice and brown. So now we got some good flavor going on. We're going to add some grated garlic, and this is going to really give it a lot of good flavor. I'm going to pull this pot off of the heat just a moment. It's getting just a little bit too hot. And back on the heat. And I'm going to stir that garlic around. When you start smelling it, then it's time to move on. Now, before we move on, I'm going to remove some of this. Now, remember, this is ham, onion, and garlic. I'm going to remove some just as a very small garnish, about 1/2 cup for the top when we serve our soup. So that's the way the pot should be looking. Okay. Now we're going to sprinkle in 3 tablespoons of plain all-purpose flour. We have our heat kind of on medium-low at the moment. And to that flour, we're going to add 1 cup of whole milk. Just going to stir that in slowly. Here we're going to make our thickening agent, the flour and the milk. We're going to make the roux. I'm going to turn that heat back up just a little bit, maybe to a medium. And stir it around till you see it start to kind of thicken up a little bit. We want to cook that flour, that raw flour taste, away from the plain flour, so it will taste more like a sauce or a gravy instead of raw flour. Okay, so there we go. It's starting to thicken. Now we're going to add, I have pork. Let me show you. I have pork bone stock. I'm going to slide this off the heat again just a moment. So I'm going to remove this from the top because that's going to, we're going to have fat in our soup, so that's going to make it too fatty, I think. And I have about 1 quart here. So I'm going to just pour that in. bring my pot back on the heat and just slowly pour this pork stock in. I make the pork stock from the pork chop bones and any other pork bone. Just like that. Now I'm going to fill my quart jar back up with water, and we're going to first add our potatoes, then we're going to see how much more liquid that we need. I'm going to grab a whisk for this part because I want that flour to become as smooth as we can get it. Just like you were making a gravy or a cream soup. And next I'm going to add 5 pounds of a cubed russet potato. Now we may have to switch to my taller pot, but we're going to give it a try in this one. So in goes the potatoes. Now we're going to give it a good stir. I like my potato soup with lots of potato in it. I don't like it too thick. That's why we only put 3 tablespoons of flour. But I do like a lot of potato in it. I think we're going to add just a splash more. Probably another cup or so. That was closer to 2 cups. And you can see my pot is pretty much full at this point. Now, if you salt things, you may want to add salt here. And if you want some pepper or any other spices in it, you're certainly welcome to do that. Okay, so I think that we've got our potatoes completely covered here nicely. So we're going to bring this up to a simmer, and then we're going to just kind of watch it. You can turn the heat down a little bit because we don't want this to boil hard. We just want it to boil, simmer enough to create a tenderness in our potatoes. Now it's come to a gentle simmer. We're going to go ahead and turn that heat down to medium-low so that it just takes its time about tenderizing those potatoes. Normally when you boil potatoes at a full boil, it takes about 20 minutes or so to get them tender, but here we're just going to take our time. It may be more like 30 or 40 minutes. You're welcome to cover the pot and just leave the lid ajar just a little bit, but I normally just leave it open like this. We can always add more liquid if we need to. You can add more stock or more just plain water or even more milk. While our potatoes are cooking, I'm going to give you kind of an overview of what I did earlier today. I made the sliders but forgot to record step by step. So let me just explain what we've got here. These are made on some of my sourdough focaccia bread. That bread has jalapenos in it and some cheese. And what I did is just sliced it up and layered some melted butter on the inside of each slice of bread. Then I cut a slice of our low sodium ham and a slice of provolone cheese. Then I put them back together and brushed the top with melted butter as well. I also added, before I placed the ham on there, I put some spicy brown mustard. Now, to prepare my dish, I just buttered it. So what we've got here is jalapeno and cheese focaccia bread with ham and cheese with the brown spicy mustard underneath there, butter layered on, melted butter, and then brushed melted butter on top. And then what I'm going to do, which I've already done, is I layered a piece of parchment paper underneath foil, heavy-duty foil, and when it's time to bake these, I will bake them in a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes or until they're piping hot. Now the potatoes are nice and tender, and it's been about 30 minutes at this gentle simmer here. Next, we're going to take a potato masher and we're going to mash up the potatoes. Now you can use a immersion blender, but just be very careful not to over blend the potatoes or the soup will get gluey. So we like chunky potato soup, so I'm not going to mash them up completely, but you do want to get enough crushed potatoes to thicken the soup a little more. Now at this stage, you've got the base of your potato soup. You're welcome to cool the soup down and freeze it. Take out just what you need and then add the extras to it as you serve it. So this is the texture that I'm going to leave it today. You can see that it's got pieces of potato. It's nice and creamy, but not too thick, because we're going to be adding cheese to this before we serve it. So we want to make sure that it's not too thick at this point. There. Oh, that's hot. That's the consistency there. Now, if you wanted to, you could put this in the crock pot, especially at this point, but you could cook the potatoes, the main base, in the crock pot. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this heat off. But at this point, especially, you can put it in the crock pot, keep it good and warm until you're getting ready to serve. Then add cheese, about a cup of grated cheddar cheese is what I'm using today, and about a half a cup of heavy cream. If you like sour cream added to your potato soup, you can add about a half a cup of the sour cream as well. And then just stir it into that hot soup, and don't boil it after that point, but just make sure it's good and hot. I think it's about 190 to 200 degrees is the recommended serving temperature for a potato soup. Here are our beautiful sliders right before I served them along with our soup the other day. It's a couple days later. It's early in the morning, and I'm going to warm up just a small cup of our soup and show you how to kind of fold the last ingredients into the soup. The Bible study and my visit with my friend went beautifully. We had a wonderful time in the Lord. And so now let's get started on this. So here I have about a cup of the potato soup base, right straight from the refrigerator. And what I like to do is do a 1-1-1 when you're doing 1 cup at a time. It's an easy way to remember just the add-ins that we're going to do here. Just 1 tablespoon, 1 tablespoon, 1 tablespoon. Okay, so first of all, we're going to put 1 tablespoon of grated cheese of your choice, whatever you like, a heaping tablespoon. We're going to put in 1 tablespoon of heavy cream and 1 tablespoon of sour cream. And now everything gets mixed together and warmed very slowly. We can add a tablespoon of water, a tablespoon of milk, or another tablespoon of cream or stock. So that's an easy way to remember: 1 cup, 1 tablespoon of each thing that you would like to add in. I've noticed the sour cream makes the potato soup come back to more of a white, cleaner look. So that may be something that you prefer. We did not add the sour cream on our day that we had our Bible study. And it was more on the tinted tan color. It was so delicious though. So we're going to gently warm this, taking our time over about a medium heat until it's nice and hot, but not totally boiling. I've warmed up a small piece of my focaccia bread in just parchment paper until, now it's straight from the freezer. So I warmed it for 15 minutes, wrapped up in the parchment paper, and now it's piping hot. And I've also at the same time put in some of my ham and caramelized onion mixture to go on top, so that can be nice and hot when our soup is ready as well. Now I'm going to slice my bread down the center here. It's nice and soft and hot inside. You can brush it with melted butter. Since it's so early in the morning, I'm not going to take those extra steps, but I am going to put on some little bit of extra spicy brown mustard. So that's the mustard there. I'm going to put it on top and the bottom. On the original sliders, I only put it on the bottom. Then I'm going to layer on the ham slice that meets, I've cut it out to fit the bread, and on top of the ham, the cheese. You can use whatever kind of cheese that you prefer. And then I'm going to top it. And now this is going to go under the broiler for just a few minutes to kind of crisp up the top and the edges and melt everything together. Since I like my potato soup more on the thinner side, I see already that I'm going to need that tablespoon of broth. So I've chosen broth to go in here just to help keep that flavor alive. Yeah. So that little bit of broth brought it back to that consistency that I prefer personally. Okay, we're going to continue on till it's heated thoroughly. And right before serving the other day, I did add a half of a lemon juiced to our base that we had removed from our original base pot. So the lemon juice was a great addition. I'm going to go ahead and add in just a little fresh lemon juice to this cup of soup. Okay, our soup is steaming hot. And I'm going to just pour it in to the bowl here. Isn't that gorgeous? Beautiful color. And we're going to quickly top it with just a little bit more grated cheese and our caramelized onions, garlic, and cubed ham. Goes right on top of that. And our beautiful broiled top, cheese, ham, and spicy mustard on a jalapeno and cheese focaccia homemade sourdough bread. Okay, so that's going on. It's nice and hot. There it is. Our sandwich is falling over. Okay, there we go. Ah, there it is. The slider, the potato soup. As you can see, it's gotten to a pretty clean looking lighter color. So first, our soup. Look at that. Oh, that made a beautiful color, didn't it? Now this is 2 days out. Google says potato soup lasts for at least 4 days in the fridge. So there it is. Here we go. It was delicious the other day, absolutely perfect, but I do believe today it's even better. That's amazing. So let's get one more bite. Wow. And those caramelized onions, garlic, and nice and brown ham cubes there on top. So delicious. Now let's get a bite of this. It really helps to broil it right at the very last to get that crispiness on top. Look at that. It's nice and hot. And that spicy mustard there, ooh, that is really, really good. The bread, of course, is delicious out of the freezer and toasted up like this. And the soup, it is so creamy. Tender potatoes, that sour tanginess of the sour cream. The heavy cream makes it so smooth and silky. And the sweetness of those caramelized onions with the garlic and the browned ham pieces. Absolutely perfect. So if you want the perfect combination for a guest, for your family, or a special celebration, right? We've got the potato and ham soup, homemade from scratch, all the way from the start, and the ham and cheese with spicy mustard on focaccia bread that has the jalapenos and the cheese in the bread as well. So there is a perfect combination. You can use any type of bread that you prefer here. Whatever bread you choose, it's going to make an absolutely fabulous, delicious, tasty, homemade meal. Okay, thank you for joining me here at Uplifting Home today, and we'll see you tomorrow in our next video. 31 days, 31 videos in the month of December. Love you guys. Take care. Bye now.